I hope you're all doing well and are keeping safe. Welcome to the Festival of Bharat. As you all know, we are committed to bringing you content that is dharmic in intent, energy, and spirit. Our aim is to keep the torch of Sanatan Dharma blazing high and proud. Our guest today is an erudite author with a keen interest in ancient Indian history and Sanskrit literature. Sumedha Varma Ojaji joined the Indian Civil Services in 1992 but switched careers after a sabbatical in 2006, moving to writing books and international consultancy with United Nations organizations. She has been engaged in deep research on ancient Indian history and Sanskrit and Prakrit works for the past decade and a half. Sumedha ji works in the area of translating and explaining the epics and bringing ancient Sanskrit Prakrit literature to the modern world. She also works in the area of conservation of cultural heritage with a focus on intangible heritage of oral traditions. The Los Angeles library system has accredited her as an author and part of its South Asian outreach. Her translation of the Sanskrit Valmiki Ramayana was published in 2016. Urnabi is a book series by her that is set in the Mauryan period based on the Arthashastra of Chanakya. Urnabi is also being developed as a web series. So please join me in welcoming Sumedha Varma Ojaji.
Namaste Pujita and namaste to everyone who's listening or watching this. It's entirely my pleasure to be here, to be able to talk to you about what I do and to disseminate it amongst people. So I stopped being a bureaucrat and started being an author and speaker precisely for this reason. So thank you very much for calling me and thank you for the conversation.
So I just wanted to, you're based out of Switzerland because of your work with the United Nations, is that right?
That's right. Although I must add that after 2018, after my last stint at the FAO in Rome, I decided that I was going to concentrate only on writing and speaking and ancient India. So I
Hmm.
have now stopped working for the UN after about 10, 15 years. So I've had one stint as an Indian bureaucrat, another stint as an international bureaucrat. And now I want to just write, speak, and research.
Beautiful, beautiful. Uh, so your since we've spoken of your interest in ancient India and ancient Indian history, and your specific work, which is which is kind of not, I wouldn't say restricted, but concentrates or
Okay.
focuses on the Mauryan period. My question is, why did you choose the Mauryan period, considering the long timeline of Indian history? Why not say the Guptas or the Cholas or whatever? What why Mauryans?
That's a very good question, because we Indians are spoilt for choice. Wherever we look, there are fascinating stories, fascinating histories to research and to talk about and to spread amongst people. But why the Mauryan? So there's a double answer to this. One is personal, and the other is more national. So the personal one, of course, is that I was born on the banks of the river Ganga. So I
Hmm.
was born in Patna, ancient Patliputra. So you can imagine that I grew up with stories of the Mauryans, of Magad, of Chanakya, of Chandragupta. So that is the personal part of it. But there's more than that. Why the Mauryans? And I have written extensively on this in many of the magazines, etc., where I write historical columns. The shape of Bharat as it is today, the prototype of that Bharat was given by the Mauryans. Now, Bharat is a very ancient civilization. We cannot say in any way that it started at this point or that point. But the way in which the nation state has been envisaged, the geographical area, the multi religious, multi ethnic, multi regional polity, the different constituent elements of the state. Say, for example, take the symbol of modern India. That symbol of modern India, those four snarling lions,
Hmm.
they are taken from the Mauryans. It's a Mauryan symbol. Take the peacock. The peacock was a Mauryan national, it is our national bird today, and the peacock was a national animal.
Hmm.
Take our trade routes.
Right.
The Uttar Path and the Dakshin Path were for the first time really set in place and exploited by the Mauryans. And we have our NH1 running along what we would call the Uttarpat.
Hmm.
Take the word rupiah, take the name of our currency. It
Hmm.
comes from what Kautilya called money. He called it beautiful, rupiah. That is where rupiah comes from.
Wow.
I could go on and on. The short point is that the Mauryans were what we can call the first empire
Hmm.
of Bharat as it is today. Now there are 6 or 7 countries out of that same geographical area. But Chandragupta's empire was from Afghanistan to Madurai, from Saurashtra to Bangladesh. And that is, more or less where we are at today.
Right.
Well, barring a few other countries which have been carved out, the base remains the same. And so many of the things that we follow today, we tend not to go back right into the past where we should look for the roots.
Hmm.
Some people are very fond of stopping at the Mughals or the Timurids. Some people are very fond of stopping at different places that they like. But I think when we are searching for our roots, we have to go as far back as the evidence allows and
Hmm.
look for as many similarities as is possible.
Hmm.
So for me, we are the modern Mauryans, and the Mauryans are ancient Bharat. So my interest in them, the more I research them, the more I find them interesting. Also, you mentioned the Guptas or the Cholas, or say even a few of the Muslim rulers. The idea of kingship in India has always been that of the Mauryans. Why do you think so many of the Guptas call themselves Chandragupta? Why
Hmm.
do you think so many of the Ashokan pillars, of the Mauryan pillars, were uprooted by so many people and brought to their own kingdoms? Firoz Shah Tughlaq, for example, because they wanted to partake of that Mauryan
Glory.
uh, glory and the political concept of sovereignty that the
Hmm.
Mauryans first put into place, giving Bharat the structure, more or less, that it has today.
Beautiful. So therefore, yeah, I guess what you're saying is, I guess it was the very first iconic sort of, also, something that set the path for the uh,
Exactly.
other kingdoms, other dynastic rules,
Exactly. Exactly.
kind of set the precepts in place for them to follow also.
Yes, exactly. The administrative structure, for example, if you look at the Gupta administrative structure and the Mauryan one, there are so many similarities.
Hmm. Beautiful.
So that's exactly, you put it in a simple sentence that it set the path.
Please remember to subscribe to us and switch on the notifications for this channel. For our other social media links, more content, and to support our work, please visit citti.net. Dhanyavad. Namaskar.